A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for the special segment known as For the Shabbos Table, made possible by the Rubin family, who really is the founding sponsor of this shir, and they ask Hashem a tefillah that they should be zeicha to a healthy ben zachar and have atzlacha, ruchnius, and gashmius. We also have another sponsor tonight, a dear Talmud of mine, Aryeh Pridanoff, virtual Talmud, and it's Le'ili Nishmas Chana Bas Abram. Neshama should have an aliyah, she should have a lichtige Gan Eden, she should be a Melitzi Yeshara for her family, for all of us, and all of Klal Yisrael. We will start off tonight's shir with a remarkable Klei Yakar. The Klei Yakar of the thousands and thousands and thousands of commentators that wrote pearls of wisdom on the Torah, we after all are known as the Am HaSefer, the people of the book. And it's an amazing thing that the Rabbeinu Shalom, it's a Gemara in Masechtas Chulin, that the Gemara left room for everyone to have original thoughts. Like it says, Mokum hanichu avoisai liskado, that my ancestors left me place also to become great. And that in every generation there's original thought, but only very few people, like Rashi, like the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, had the zechiyah to be on the page of the Mikrayis Gedolos that's available for perusal of all of Klal Yisrael throughout the generations. I'm going to share with you a pearl of a Klei Yakar. It says that when Eliezer saw that it seemed to be providential that Rivka was for Yitzchak, so he extended her certain symbolic presents. Nezem Zahav, whether this is a nose ring or an earring of gold, Beka Mishkalai, the weight of a Beka is a half, Ushnei Tzmidim al Yodeha, and 2 bracelets for her hands, Asara Zav Mishkalam, the weight of 10 gold. Now we know that the tzmidim means a pair, is symbolic of the luchais. And that's why it's 10, the weight was 10, because it's the 10 commandments. Nezem Zov represents money. So here, in a flash of etymology, the Klei Yakar says that the word Beka and the word Tzmidim have opposite connotations. Beka means to take one thing and split it in 2. Where do we have that? We have an in davening in Marav, Bokei Hayom Lifnei Moshe. He split the sea before Moshe. So Beka means to take one thing and split it in 2. Samid means to take 2 things and fuse it into 1. Right? Like it says, Samid Pasal Olav, a tightly fit cover upon an earthenware vessel. So again, Beka means to take one thing and split it into 2. Samid means to take 2 things and to fuse it into 1. And here, in spectacular drush, the Chayai says, when it comes to money, money's nature is to be bokeya, is to split, is to divide. First he says that it's known the nature of money that we never get to half of our desires when it comes to money. It says, Mishi Yeshloi Mana writes a Messiah. Somebody has 100, wants 200. It says, Eino the meis v'chatzi tavosoi biyadai. A person doesn't die having fulfilled half of his monetary desires. So money splits. Now, I've explained to you this idea. That's why money is the source of perennial sadness to millions of people. Money is a quicksand. Because the more we have, the further we are away from having reached our goal. Listen carefully to this. It says somebody has 100 wants 200. But somebody that has 1,000 wants 2,000. Somebody has 1,000,000 wants 2,000,000. But somebody that has 100 million wants 200 million. So you see what's happening is the more a person has, the further he gets away from being satisfied. And that's the meaning of Ein Adam Meis, V'chatzi Tavasa B'yada. Chayai says that there's something called the nigla and the nister in a word. So he says, Mammon, the nister is the same as the nigla. Because mammon is made up mem, mem, vav, nun. Mem is spelled mem, mem. There's another mem, that's mem, mem. Vav is vav, vav. And nun is nun, nun. So he says the hidden part is the same as the revealed part. Because there's always half that you're not going to have. It's always going to be a perpetual dissatisfaction. I'll never forget that the incomparable, the orator par excellence, the charismatic, dynamic Reb Noach Weinberg, the Rosh Hashiva of Eish HaTorah, of Or Sameach, and probably one of the founders of the Baal Tshuva movement of modern time. I once heard him say a story about this. He says there were two friends, and they used to walk 10 blocks together to work. And everything was fine until, let's call the friends Reuven and Chaim. Everything was fine until Chaim got himself a 10-speed Schwinn bike. And now Reuven was green with envy. He had to walk 10 blocks, and Chaim had his bike, and he's whizzing away. And he saved, and he saved, and he saved, and he got his bike. He was the happiest man in the world until Chaim got himself a Honda, a motorcycle. Now, while he's pumping up the mountain and sweating, Chaim is zooming away on his motorcycle. And Reuven is so jealous, green with envy, and he's so unhappy. But it's a lot more expensive, a $4,000 Yamaha. But he saved and he saved and he saved, and he got himself a motorcycle, and he's the happiest man in the world, until Chaim got himself a little car. Now he's riding on his motorcycle in the pouring rain, on the slippery snow, and Chaim is riding ensconced in his comfortable car, and he's so jealous but to buy a car. But he saved and he saved and he saved until he got a car. And he was the happiest man until Chaim got himself a chauffeur, got himself a driver. To get a driver. And you see what's happening over here. It's keeping to get more and more out of reach. But he was unhappy until he got himself a driver. And then everything was okay until Chaim got a Learjet. That's life. That's the nature of money, is that it's bokeya. It splits the person. The person is unhappy. It's what Esav said, Yesh li Rav, I have plenty. But Yaakov said, Yesh li Kal, I got everything. Yaakov was happy. The nature of money is it's bokeya. Now, the Klei Yakar doesn't suffice with that. He says the nature of money is it splits from you when the person dies. The money abandons him. Here he's so proud. He has in the bank, he has a CD, he has money in gold. You know how much gold is worth? He was wise. He invested in gold bullion. He has money in real estate. And every day he looks at his portfolio. Then when he dies, bokeya, the money splits. It's out of here. Ein malavin la'adam le'kesef le'zav, not his silver, not his gold. The Klei Yakar goes further. Really, such a fascinating Klei Yakar. The Klei Yakar says that money causes division between people. How many brothers and sisters don't talk to each other because fights over the Yerusha? How many partners are sworn enemies because of fights over money? Says the Klei Yakar, it says about money, Al piv yir kol riv v'chol nega. Through it comes all kinds of quarrels and disputes. It's bokeya, it splits. And then he says, look at the difference with Torah. Right? He gave Shnei Tzmidim al Yodeh, the two bracelets, which represent two luchos, Asar, which represent the 10 Commandments. He says the nature of Torah is that it's summit. It fuses together. First of all, he says, the Torah cleaves to us when we leave the world. You know, at the end of every Masechta, in the siyum of the Masechta, we say a remarkable pasuk. It says about the Torah, we're celebrating finishing the Masechta. It says, B'yisalechecha tancha oisach. When you walk in this world, the Torah guides you. B'shachbecha, when you lie in the grave, tishmar alecha. It's a beautiful medrash that the Torahs are, it's like torches that are lit inside the grave. So it says, B'shachbacha, when you're lying, tishmer alecha. V'akitzaisa, when you awaken, when we awaken in the next world, he says, it's going to be what we're going to talk about. The Torah attaches us, unlike the money that abandons us, that splits. The Torah is summit, the Torah cleaves us. He then says that the Torah brings more to us, because mitzvah gereres mitzvah. One mitzvah leads to another mitzvah. People don't realize that in the morning when they get up and they open their eyes and they say Moida Ani, we could say it even before they wash their hands, it doesn't have Hashem's name. Then they go into the bathroom, they pick up the cup in the right hand, pass it to the left hand, pour on the right hand, then on the left hand, 3 times alternately. They put a little water and they clean the mouth from the Ririn Shebepeh so that they say Hashem's name without the saliva. Then they wash their face, polishing the bust of Hashem, the Tzelem Elikim, and doing a haftal reacha to look good for people and for their wife. And to prepare for Hashem, he kun likras elikechi. So it's a big thing to wash your face in the morning. It says that Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Zech Tzadik Devracha Schus Yagan Aleinu, was makbid Motzi Yom Kippur to wash his face. Because he couldn't do it in the morning. You're not allowed to do it in the morning. You have to wash your face. So he would wash his face Motzi Yom Kippur. And then a person makes an Asher Yotzer, and then he finishes the Moidani, Reishis Chachma, and then he kisses the mezuzah, and he says good morning to his wife. You know, all these mitzvahs cause such a snowball effect. Mitzvah gereres, mitzvah gereres, mitzvah gereres, mitzvah. Mitzvahs attach themselves to each other. It's summit. And then he says, and Torah unites people. Shalom Rav la'ohavei sarasecha. Great peace to those that love Torah. Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom ba'olam. Rambam says shekol ha'Torah kula nitna lasos shalom ba'olam. Shenema drocher darchei noyam v'chol nesiva yiseh shalom. You know, I knew if I would start speaking about this, I'd get carried away, and we wouldn't accomplish more. I'm going to talk about other things. But this is very important. Money splits a person. It's why on Shabbos and Yom Tov we always pray, Sab'einu mituvecha. Satisfy us from your goodness. And ein tov yala Torah shenema ki lekach tov nosati lochem Torasi al tazayvei. True satisfaction comes from Torah. Money doesn't bring satisfaction. Money is good. Could allow us to do a lot of great things. But the satisfaction, the summit is the Torah. Vayomer Hashem, Eliezer said, Vayomer Hashem Elikei Adoni Avram, the God of my Lord Avram, Hakrei no lefanai hayom, please let there chance by me today that I should find a kala for Yitzchak. So the Tamei HaMikra makes a very interesting observation. The musical cantillation, the trup on the word Vayomer, is a very rare trup. It's actually the longest musical note. It's a shalsheles. We go 3 times. It's a very rare cantillation. And he suggests that the reason is because it's reminding us that when it comes to Shidduchin, we should daven and daven again and daven again. It's not something we should daven only one time. It says in Gemara in Brachas, Al Zois Yispal Kol Chasid Le'eis Mitzay. For this, a pious person should constantly pray to towards the time of finding. And the Gemara says, what does it mean towards the time of finding? It means a mate. Matzah isha, matzah taif. Leah was so worried she would fall into the lap of Esav that she prayed so much until her eyelashes came out from her constant prayer. But this is good advice. Parents, you could put all your effort into your children and really, really raise proper children. But if they marry the wrong spouse, it could all go down the drain. Very important to pray for a good spouse. That's why it's a shalshelis. So I'm just going to share with you that in the Sefer La Tivcha Ba'avos Lis'adein Ba'avosecha, he makes another diak in the cantillation. I found it very interesting. It says that they offered food to Eliezer. Vayusam lefonav lechel. Now the Medrash tells us that Besuel was a very wicked man, a murderous man, and he put poison in front of Eliezer. Tried to poison Eliezer, because then Yitzchak would never be able to marry, because they wouldn't know if Eliezer accepted Kiddushin on Yitzchak's behalf, and anyone that he would marry might be a wife's sister or a wife's daughter. But a Malach came and switched the food from in front of Eliezer to in front of Besuel, and Besuel ate it, and Besuel died. So it's really Gemulai Yashiv al Roshai. He got desserts upon his head. And listen to this. You want to know about trup? You know what the cantillation on the word Vayusam is? You'll remember your bar mitzvah. Mapach pashta zakeif katan. That's right. The trup on Vayusam is mapach, which means to switch. So even in the cantillation, it says the cantillation is also Sinai. There was a Rebbe, he retired, but there's a Rebbe in Yeshiva Staten Island, Rabbi Shane, who wrote a beautiful sefer on Chumash, where there's a lot of gems about the secrets that are in the trup. There's secrets all over. There's secrets in the crowns, in the taggin. There's secrets in the trup. There's secrets all over the place. You should live a long time to know many of the secrets. Vayomer elav Avram, Hishama lecha pen toshevis b'ni shama. Avram told Eliezer, just don't take my son to Canaan. Loisikach isha lebni mibnais haKanani asher anochi yoshev b'kirbai. I don't want you to marry him off to the daughters of the Canaani we live by. So here again, the Klei Yakar says that if she marries from the family of Lavan and Besuel, I don't have to worry that she's going to learn from them, because you're bringing her back. She won't learn from them. But if you marry them to the Canaan, and we're living in Canaan, they're going to learn from their ways of debauchery, and therefore don't marry her to a Canaanite. But then the Klei Yakar says a very interesting thing. The Klei Yakar says that, but what about the genetic passage of traits? He says the genetic passage of traits is only a worry by things like immorality. Lavan and Besuel that were idolatrous, they have Trophim. They worship Trophim. That's sichli, that's intellect. That's not passed through genetics. The immorality, that's passed through genetics. It's an interesting thing that the Klei Yakar says. There is a very big problem, though. It's a very big problem. Because Besuel had immorality too. You know why he was called Besuel? Because there was a rule in the town that any virgin that got married had to sleep with Besuel first. That's why he was called Besuel, from a lashon of Besuus. This was the forerunner of the Greek at the time of Hanukkah, called Besuel Tibor Le'egmoin Trila. She had to sleep with the governor first. So there was immorality there too. So I saw that some of the Svarim suggest, but maybe it was only their family. It wasn't generational, so Avram wasn't worried about it. But it is a kasha. I just, because you know that I love etymology. I'm going to show you, we know that there's an idea called Shma Gorim. A name foretells a person's destiny. So the name Besuel, first of all, this is obvious. Besuel is Bito El. His daughter was spiritual. His daughter was holy, because Besuel was the father of Rivka. So it's in the name, Bito El. It's also, as we saw, that he was a degenerate, and he slept with many Besulos. But now watch this. You have to have just a certain way of looking at words. But if you write out on the paper the words Besuel, the letters Besuel, you'll see that it's the same letters as Avelus, morning. Beis, Saf, Vav, Aleph, Lamed, is the same letters as Avelus. Because his life would end up in mourning. He would try to kill Eliezer, and he was poisoned to death. The Malach put the food in front of him. It's all in the name, Shma Gorim. It's an amazing thing, Shma Gorim. Deserves many, many shiurim. I started writing a sefer on it, never finished it. I want to share with you, wow, it's 27 minutes already. I want to thank Aryeh Pridunov, Lila Nishmas Chana Bas Avram, and of course our founding sponsor, the Rubin family, should be Zeicha to a Ben Zachar. I want to share with you, this is the parasha of marriage. It's well known that Rav Palm used to give a famous shir about marriage on Parashas Chayai Sara that was very, very, very well attended. The father of all yeshivas was a Volozhin. The father of all Rashi Yeshivas was Reb Chaim Volozhin. I want to share with you a thought that Reb Chaim Volozhin said about marriage. It's so powerful, so simple, and so powerful. In the 6th bracha of Sheva Brachas, it says, Sameach tisamach reim ho'ahuvim. May you be very happy, you friends who are beloved. So Reb Chaim Volozhin asks a simple question. Why doesn't it say Reim ha'ohavim? Why doesn't it say friends that are lovers? You know, in the American sprach, look at those two lovers. They look so good together. But it doesn't say Reihim ha'ohavim, friends that love each other. It says Reihim ha'ahuvim, friends that are loved. Says Reb Chaim Volozhin, the focus in marriage is how can you get that your spouse should love you? That's Reim Ho'ahuvim. Says the focus should be, what can I do that my spouse should love me? We know that that's the secret of marriage. Reb Shamshon Raphael Hirsch famously said, and Reb Dessler said it, that the root of ahava is hav, to give. And I've coined a phrase, which I said people should keep by their desk and on their refrigerator. In marriage, the best way to get something is to give it. That's the way it works. You want something, give it. You want smiles, smile. You want warmth, be warm. And that's why marital joy is called sus. Sus is a palindrome, because it's reciprocal in nature. What we give, we get back. As always, I want to thank you for making this share possible. If you would like to sponsor a share, 718-916-3100. You could text me. The main share, a diamond sponsor, is $540. A regular sponsor is $360. It's seen by well over 1,000 people every week. We'd love to have you join our Daf Yomi family every night at 8. Motzei Shabbos, Tublat at 8. The way to do it is to go to zoomdaf.com and put in meeting code, all capitals, RMMW, Rabbi Moshe Meir Weiss, all capitals. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful Shabbos.